January 30th was a night one for the Washington Wizards, as they easily defeated the San Antonio Spurs 127-106. It was the first time in years that the Wiz beat the Spurs at their home court, and it's clear that this team is back on track. The team's currently riding a 6-game win streak, with impressive performances coming from their biggest stars. Kuzma led the way with 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists, while Bradley Beal was also a key factor in the victory, putting up 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. Kristaps Porzingis added 17 points to the tally and put in 9 rebounds for good measure. At 24-26, the Wizards are now in the top 10 of the East and don't seem to be slowing down anytime soon.
He's so shifty.
Kuzma's float game is good.
Kuzma needs to stay aggressive.
The real question is, how long will their winning streak go? There are the Portland Trail Blazers and Brooklyn Nets who both have winning records. That means that the team will really have to show their mettle if they're going to keep this up. But if they can carry on with their newfound momentum, then it looks like Washington could be back in business. Just a bit over a week later, Porzingis was still on a roll. It was an interesting matchup between the Washington Wizards and Charlotte Hornets as we entered into inning 3 of 4 matchups.
In there for that rebound, Anthony Gill comes up with it. The Charlotte, North Carolina native.
That's right. I love how Anthony Gill finished up down there on the glass.
Kristaps Porzingis has definitely been a player to watch in this game. He's had an impressive performance, dropping 18 points in the third quarter, a career high. Even more amazingly, that was more than the Hornets scored as a team. That's right, Porzingis outscored the Hornets 18-15 in that frame alone. His skills were on full display this game, making 4 threes and tying his career high of 36 points.
7-3 height. Get that man 40! He ties his career high.
He did it at the right time.
Not to be outdone, Deni Avdija also had an incredible game with 20 points and 13 rebounds. He made the most of his time on the court, showing off his agility when cutting to the rim assisted by Daniel Gafford, and then nailing open shots from beyond the arc. Avdija's been thriving since the Rui Hachimura trade, reaching double figures by scoring 7 out of 8 games in this adjusted offensive role.
Kispert hits the 3.
This was their last game before the trade deadline, and a lot of people expected the Wizards to be in a very strong position. So what happened? The Washington Wizards made it to the trade deadline with a few moves, but held on to their core players in Bradley Beal, Kuzma, and Kristaps Porzingis. GM Tommy Shepard said that he believed keeping these 3 players together was the best move for the team. The team didn't make any major deals at the deadline, but they did acquire forward Deni Avdija from the Hachimura trade. They also made it clear that they intend to keep Kuzma around by not trading him away and keeping his bird rights heading into free agency.
With him, he's so versatile, being able to pop, but also if he pops, you run him off, he's able to put the ball on the ground.
The Wizards have been plagued with injuries this season, mostly involving Beal, who's missed 22 games. But when healthy, they've shown that they can be a contender in the East. And with Kuzma's career-high 21.3 points per game and Porzingis' team-high 22.7 points and 8.6 rebounds, they could definitely make a run if everyone stays healthy. The team seemed content to stay put at the trade deadline, and now look forward to the summer when they'll get to make moves.
Look at Kuzma just split the double team, and a timeout here for James Borrego as the Wizards lead by 10.
They have their 3 core players in place, and if they can keep them together, they should be a force in the East. It's going to be an interesting offseason for the Washington Wizards with lots of decisions to make, but they can start with the confidence that their core players are in place. Time will tell what moves they make in the summer, but it's clear that keeping Beal, Kuzma, and Porzingis was their priority at the trade deadline. We'll have to wait and see if things work out for the Wizards this spring. But for now, it looks like their core players are in a place for a potential playoff run.
Avdija, Claxton fell, and Deni Avdija took advantage.
The players had a range of reactions to the trade deadline. For some, it was a sense of relief that their team could stay put and ride out the rest of the season with their current roster intact. Others were disappointed that no major moves were made and that they wouldn't have any reinforcements for the playoff push. Kuzma took the latter approach, but still remained optimistic about his team's chances.
Been in open gyms, but we mainly been kind of on separate teams, just being competitive. But
it's definitely been tough with some injuries and guys coming in and out, Kuzma said. We're trying to figure out playing with different lineups and different groups, adding, that's the NBA. It's not an excuse because all 30 teams go through that. The team has a sense of understanding when it comes to its injuries, as Bradley Beal stated. It starts with me. I've got to make sure I'm available more than anything and that I'm locked in and ready to lead, Beal said. Head coach Wes Unseld Jr. also spoke to his team after the trade deadline, emphasizing the importance of relying on each other if they want to make a move in the standings. It's clear that these players are determined to make a playoff push and stay healthy enough to get there. It's up to them now. All we can do is watch and see how they fare over the next 2 months. Knowing this team, they won't back down from a challenge. But not everything's going the way the Wizards had hoped. Bradley Beal's been hit with a hefty fine after shoving an official during the Wizards' win against the Indiana Pacers. It all happened when Bradley went for a loose ball, and then he collided with an official on the sidelines, resulting in him giving the ref a gentle shove into some empty seats. Ouch! It's not the news the Wizards wanted to hear as they make a desperate push for the playoffs. With their record standing at 26-29, they're currently outside of the playoff picture, but Beal is pivotal if they want to get there. After all, he's averaging an impressive 22.5 points and 5.2 assists per game in 33 appearances this season. He certainly doesn't want to miss any more games than necessary. He's already missed 22 this year, the most game time action he's missed in a regular season throughout his 10-year NBA career. So let's hope Beal can stay safe and healthy as the Wizards make their final push for the playoffs. But other things are still working out for them. Deni Avdija and Kristaps Porzingis have formed quite the bond in the Washington Wizards locker room, forging what can only be described as a bromance. Ever since Hachimura's trade opened up the door for Avdija to get more touches, KP's been acting like an older brother to Deni, providing guidance on the court and mentorship off of it. Before the Wizards tipped off against Charlotte, Porzingis turned to Avdija and said, "I need turbo tonight." It was a reference to the 22-year-old's new nickname, which has become quite fitting given how Avdija has embodied his recent surge on the court. Porzingis got his wish, as Avdija put in another impressive game to help the Wizards get a win against the Hornets. The numbers were impressive, but it's how Avdija's been playing with increased poise and confidence that has been most inspiring. He's become much more aggressive, Porzingis said of his little brother. You can see he's shooting the ball better with more confidence, adding, the game has slowed down for him. Now, he just needs to be able to do counters off the dribble when teams force him left. It's clear that the pair have forged an unbreakable bond, one that promises to help Avdija and the Wizards develop even further. For Porzingis, it's just one more way he can help his little brother reach his full potential and become a great player. We've seen what Deni's capable of. Now it's time to see how far that talent can take him. Do you think the Wizards will make the playoffs? See you in the next one.